I mean, you got to get somebody to do it. You might as well. I mean, if you want to keep it MCU, you know.
Oh well, sure. If you wanted to do that,
yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, and why not? So yeah, no, yeah. So Chris Hemsworth.
I mean, my whole thing is I prefer I prefer Chris Hemsworth in a comedic role. He can still be an action role, but I prefer him doing comedics.
Oh sure. And so yeah. So you have Chris Hemsworth as Space Ace and Tom Holland as Dexter.
Sure.
And then you find an appropriate for both female.
Yeah.
Which is, because it's although it's a tricky one finding appropriate for both, but I think that's where you maybe go for, I don't know, Emma Meyer from she's a little bit more Tom Holland appropriate. The Enid from Wednesday, I think that would work. Also, we should probably acknowledge the audience is here now and do the show. So,
howdy.
but I mean, the conversation was interesting. I didn't want to stop. Hi, everyone. Sure. It's a dark show night. I'm Jeff. This is Tim. I got to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry that Zacho had a rough day yesterday and wasn't able to get. And it was not his fault. It was other people being dicks. But it did block
either dicks or inept.
And probably some mixture of both.
Or inept dicks.
Yeah.
I mean, porque no los dos.
So he didn't get the show ready. So we're doing a dark night, which honestly I'm okay with. Yesterday was my wife's graduation, and it turned out to be a really long day, and I'm doing okay today, but I mean, I was exhausted when we got home, and I didn't get to bed till midnight, and I had to work today. So, it was one of those.
Oh, so I had a little errand on Sunday, and I specifically told my mom that I don't have to stream on Sunday, so I can take care of it. And she texted me in the morning saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. I know you're streaming today." I did not correct her.
Sure. No, free pass.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'm sleeping in.
Yeah. So thank you, Lord Ford, for the congratulations. Yeah, she graduated with. So it was Seattle University College of Education, and she graduated with a master's degree in counseling, and already has a job lined up. I mean, the place she's interning loved her, so she loves them, they love her, and they basically said, "Hey, you want to keep working for us?" And she was like, "Yes."
Hey, that's always good.
Yeah, so she doesn't even have to hunt for a job. She's set.
Yeah. Job security right off the bat.
Hey, why not? Hey, I just realized I'm going to change something here because I can. I just got to decide where I want to change it. Not there. Oh, here. I'm going to do it here. So yeah, and it's. I mean, she has to finish the internship program, which goes through August. So she won't actually start until September. But hey, you know what? Guaranteed job is guaranteed job.
Exactly.
So anyway, we're doing MNW Dark because of everything I just mentioned. So I've thrown together some matches. Heavy use of the randomizer button because the stuff the game still wants to give me. No. Here's the thing. I hate the term graduation for stuff like that. Race car. Hang on, I'm going to put this on screen. I hate that term because, to me, it was a term used in an abusive manner in Japan. And
well, it's like it's part of what should not be taken away from the idol industry and brought into VTuber.
Yeah. So I hate the term graduation. If I ever retire Dr. Caliban, he is retiring. I will not use graduation. Because frankly, I find the term a little insulting. Whereas my wife graduating is going to be an excellent news. She is the third woman in her family. Her mother and grandmother before her both also got master's degrees at Seattle University. It's a goddamn family tradition.
Nice.
So, anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do a dark show tonight, which is gonna be. I've already kind of set up some matches. I got some discussion points from Zacho about storyline stuff that he'd like to seed, and of course, if any of you out there got questions, we're copacetic.
Yeah.
And I'm playing the Midnight in the background because I can. This has become my go-to. I just need music in the background with no lyrics, which is weird. When I'm at work and I need to focus, I need lyrics.
Yeah, fair. I'd be similar.
And often metal, although I have been playing a little Midnight for that too. I got an entire mini soundtrack in my bigger soundtrack that is my Neon Odyssey soundtrack. I also have my Jasper Henry soundtrack, who's the guy I use as music for the pre-show on Nightmare Cinema, who's this indie artist, does all his stuff himself, and he's trying to build an audience, and I'm here to help him because I like his stuff. But yeah. So we're going to have some Midnight in the background and stuff like that. I'm going to start the show. Don't actually need to hide anything, so I'm just going to... There it is. Come on. Open! Oh, and hey, thank you to Gamer Devin for gifting 5 subs to the community. Hey, if any of you out there got a gift sub from Devin, say thank you. Devin, by randomizer, didn't put you in anything tonight. Weird. But that's okay. You know why? Because you're actually going to be doing stuff on the actual show. What the hell? I'm just going to... because it's not like we're going to stop talking. It's a dark show. We're just sort of... vibes. So, because of the long day, I haven't actually seen Breakdown yet, so I don't know what happened. I can extrapolate from the spoiler channel, but... I don't know for sure. But I'm calling this match, Whoops, All Champions. Because why not? Whoops, All Champions. All right, let's get going. So, anyway, well, I'll let the intro musics finish, and then I'll get into Zacho's first subject. And so, I guess we're starting with Tommy, our Nexus Titan champion. So, it's interesting. We have I guess we have a tier of our championships, top to bottom. And I'm going to be honest. For me, a lot of that tier was what I inherited from Takahata. Because Taka had it as Multiversal Heavyweight, then Nexus Titan, then Big Oof, and then Warpgate, which became TTV, and then I guess now it would be below that would be Underworld, and then just because it's the newest title, and then of course the tag titles are kind of their own thing. And then, speaking of heavyweight, there's the heavyweight champion. Hey, Hex, you can thank Zacho for the deck stanking. And he really put a lot of thought into it. You know, technically this is the first time we've entered Sawyer with the belt. So anyway.
Yep. Be right back.
All right. So one of the other things I thought I'd bring up while we're here, just because I noticed the discussion again over on the Discord, is of course people asking, wait, how is it Multivania 10? When MNW is 7 years old. And the answer gets into...
I'm back.
Welcome back. And the answer to that question is a snapshot into the mind of Takahata. Because remember, MNW just started as, oh, I need content. It actually started as...
MNW started as, I'm pissed off at that waifu battle war thing.
Yeah, the waifu wars really did a number on him.
Was, what, Valkyrie something?
Yeah, yeah, something.
Valkyrie profile?
Anyway, yeah, but that. And so, you know, he started doing 2K19, went through the story mode, and Trashman was his character in story mode. And then he kept going using universe mode to tell the story, and it evolved into MNW. But the point is of how it became, how we got 3 years worth of MNW in the space of a single year. And the answer is that Kurt ran MNW twice a week.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Kurt would periodically go, you know, I feel like having 2 shows this tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that was actually, yeah, I was going to get to that. Yeah. So twice a week, often 2 shows a night. So a single week of real time could be a month of MNW. And he kept enough track to go, oh, it's time for Multivania again. You know, so we'd get the pay-per-views would come up fairly often because it was, oh, we're here in the MNW year. And it was only, and when I say we did 3 years, it's not that we did 3 years in a month. We did 3 years in, or no, we didn't do 3 years in a year. We did 3 years in 6 months. Because once Flashbang debuted, everything became real time. Because Bosco was doing real time, and Kurt decided, yeah, why not? So, as with many things in life, blame Bosco.
Oh, that tracks.
Anyway, so yeah, that's how that started. Mad Lad Luck! Or London, I don't have the thing up to tell me which is which. Oh, and a reversal by R. Sawyer. Anyway. You know what I don't think, I want to see if we can play more with stuff we can do with the audience in the future. Because I don't know why. I felt maybe it's because there was something about 2K19. I just feel like the audience was much more of a factor.
That was also problematic.
This is true. Well, then also we had because of processing, at times the audience had to be turned down. You know, so you would have a not full arena. '19 had its advantages and its disadvantages. That I would say is very much a thing. I think the biggest thing and the reason why 19 is still a factor in anything at all is we need it for the promos. Because they reintroduced promos in a way that is completely unusable.
Yeah, they made it about as hard as possible.
Yeah. Hood, there's a dude in the ring.
Oh, this has escalated quickly.
You got to be careful in certain matches because the AI, given its druthers.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, the AI, given a choice.
Don't work yourself into a shoot, brother.
Yeah, wants to be outside the ring.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Oh, now a sledge. You know, a sledgehammer in Tommy Black's hands just feels right. Not gonna lie. You have no, Zombie. Do not bring 2K20 into this. That was whoa. That's why we got an extra year of 2K19. I mean, from the company, they all admitted, yeah, we fucked up.
I mean, I feel like it always says something if you've had a Matt McMuscle's What Happened video made about you.
Yeah.
Although technically what happened isn't about bad games, just bad development.
Well, honestly, I mean, if we want to do a real post-game analysis, the problem for 2K20 was it was the first year of the new developing company. And
Yep.
But they didn't take a gap year to develop it. They just said, hey, new company, use these old assets and go. Because we have to put out a game annually.
They almost literally got sloppy seconds.
Yeah, and didn't work. And then they basically did what should have been done in the first place, which was, we're going to take some time to develop, which is why there's no 2K21. They basically went, yeah, okay, we're going to actually skip a year and develop the damn game. And we got 2K22, which, while still problematic, has admirable... From then on, it did seem to have a level of improvement.
At that point, our expectations had been lowered.
Yeah. And sadly, every year now, there is the 2K20 fear. Which I think we can state how bad we are worried about an iteration of the game is on the how badly is this going to piss off Arkolf? Well, Bob, that Grizzly 2K20 stream remind me, is Zelnick, is he the CEO of 2K?
Either 2K or I think it might be Take-Two.
Take-Two? Okay. I would count Take-Two, because 2K, I mean, let's face it, 2K is just...
Take-Two CEO.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah. That's... Yeah, put himself in 26, which was a... It's like, do not give Grizzly Adams that temptation. You will get raffle stomped. Raffle stomped is a word.
Okay.
I just declared. Actually, I think it is an actual term. I know I didn't create it. Picked it up somewhere.
Like a disease.
I was watching some old stuff. Just came up on my feed, and so there's a video out there. It was during the great Takahata road trip, where I'm the guest in the. So here's the thing for you. It's me in my VTuber persona with Takahata, and in the back seat is Probate, and I'm doing an analysis of Taka's DNA, and I have to inform him that I found clown DNA, but I informed him it's probably, and this is Bob's fault. Just we can all blame Bob for this, but maybe Grizzly, but probably Bob. It's like I think you got the sexually transmitted version, chlamydia, which got a laugh. But the clip that got taken didn't get to the point where I gave him a shot of Panacerius to clear it up. So I'm pretty sure it's a Bob blame. Look, there are things you can blame Bob for. There's a lot of things you can blame Bob for.
Fuck you, Bob.
So, but when you're dealing with Bob,
y'all a bunch of bitches. That's what y'all are.
So it's all fine.
You need to get the rest of them out,
What, the rest of the fuck you Bobs,
or just the rest of your Bob memes?
Well, because I've got...
What the fuck?
And then, of course, I've got...
Fuck you, Bob.
Fuck you, Bob! What happened?
And
I
then,
just
of
want to make
course-
sure you got them all out your system.
No, because there's one more. Which one is it? Oh, yeah.
Bite me, Daddy.
That one. There we go.
Oh, sure.
I think that's all my Bob. Yeah, Bob scream, fuck you, Bob, fuck you, Bob, fuck you, Bob, bitches. And then bite me, daddy. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my whole list of Bob. Which I did this. I got this like game once, really cheap, where you could add sound clips, and I had you could give. You're supposed to use a microphone to give animals voices, and since I use voice mod, it just will accept my sound clips. And so I took a little island and created the island of Bob. So. Look, I mean, I got, you know, if we want to give fair play, I've got...
Because Has Bunnies are crazy.
Why would you say that to an anime fan?
Yeah, I've got my Boscos, which is one of the fuck you Bobs.
Fuck you, Bob! What happened?
Then I've got
Anything can be on fire if you set it on fire enough.
Monty.
Fuck you, Bob.
This is my only Connor.
Fuck you, Bob.
Yeah, that zoo game. I played it once and I just created an island of you. You know what's weird? On this, I only got one that's actually me. I am the rightful king of England. So, and that is from a Disney stream. What else I got on here? I've got one unexpectable. Well, the fire one's an unexpectables, but
Pick a god and pray!
that's also unexpectables.
Send us monies.
That, of course. And then, of course,
There are bees, Jerry!
so yeah, just to get them all in. Oh yeah, no, that's... Look, like I said, there's all... Yeah, that's... Look, okay, so first off, that's fair. And so is this. And by fair, I mean you were in the right in both cases. That's also fair. See, all that's fair. I don't think... See, I think we need a new meme. Bob did nothing wrong. We've got blame Bosco and Bob did nothing wrong. I should start the next match. Okay, I think something got screwed up in my game. I don't think it has Gorm and Dagrick as a tag team right now. I'm going to have to look at that. Look, I know the Y'all a Bunch of Bitches was from a Sea of Thieves streams of the Murder Cave. And it was... the rest of the Murder Cave was doing the classic, we're going to sink the boat by firebombing it at the end of the stream. And Bob decided to, he was going to fight them and save the boat. And Bob was doing such a good job, he was winning. So the rest of the Murder Cave did a vote and put Bob in the brig. So that not only could he no longer prevent it from sinking, he was going to go down with the ship. And thus we got...
Y'all a bunch of bitches! That's what y'all are!
Oh, Subnautica 2 with the Murder Cave. Well. Here's the thing, Bob. You know, I've been playing a game that I feel is perfect Murder Cave fodder. Now I've been playing it solo, but Windrose pirate survival game, which you can play solo. I'm playing it solo and it works fine, but you can also play co-op. And I think between the having different, because you, based on which sword you're carrying, you will have a very different fighting style. So I think first off, there's that. And plus, it's Murder Cave as pirates again. Fighting Blackbeard and his undead pirates, because it's a survival game. There's undead in it. But then also live pirates. And you have both on the land combat and on the sea combat. Oh, Gamer Devin, you mean Gorm with the... yeah. That has always sort of been perfectly that. So, okay, one of the, luchadors in suits, it's a thing in Lucha Libre, and I really got into it after watching a bunch of Santo movies. And when Santo was in the ring, he was either wearing a cardigan or a suit. And now what do we have? El Grande Americano rocking the suits. Hey, Tim, I'm going to step away for a second because I just realized I have a migraine threatening, and so I want to go get some, I want to go take something for it real quick, so I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Did you get a chance to answer Hex?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Oh.
I don't know for how long I was muted too.
Well, I know I didn't hear a response when I told you I was going to get something for my migraine.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Right.
I know I was. No, but yeah, I was saying Mondays are usually my my therapy days, so I'm doing all right. Just explaining we were dealing with hurricane season, and yes, that is in fact a thing. You know, people would go, "Oh, it's volcano season."
The thing is, the volcano is a. Trying to think of a good analogy for a volcano.
I mean, even with earthquakes, there's not like a season, as far as I'm aware of, that it's like, oh,
no,
it's that time of year we're gonna get more earthquakes.
It's like every morning you wake up and the volcano rolls a D100, and if it ever rolls a 100, there it goes.
Yeah, so unfortunately what it does mean is we do get a lot of just regular storms in.
Sure.
Oh.
Whereas this is the time of year where we're getting less rain. And of course the oppressive heat I was talking about, which I don't know if I talked about on stream, but yesterday was a hot day and I had to be out of the house because of my wife's graduation. All right.
Yeah, Sasquatch, unfortunately, I'm in a weird area where typically, as it had been until the last couple of years, climate change, we'd get hurricanes come our way, but by the time the actual hurricane had gotten to us, it had dissolved into just a bad storm. It hasn't been until like a couple of years ago that we've actually had straight up eye come through our town. Yep.
I'm going to get to one of Zacho's subjects. All right, let's see what do we think about... All right, let's start about this, because we kind of touched on it earlier. And that, you know what, so I'm going to take it how I did first, and I'll cover the other part later. Because one of our big storylines right now, and the Hex is here for this, is, you know, what do we feel is going to be and I mean, I don't get to say I know what's going to happen, but how do people feel? What do you feel is going to be the fate of the Outlaws? And also, what do you feel is their legacy? Which, you know, the legacy is definitely a thing. I mean, that's particularly because the Outlaws are very much a, you know, they started on one brand, moved to the other for storyline. Well, okay. Storyline reasons. So, Theron steals the contract. Okay, hang on. I'm not going to put it on screen, but Theron steals the contract and Legacy, probably the meanest, most obnoxious team on Warzone Flashbang. So, one of the interesting things about the Outlaws, you know, they started over on Flashbang. They are Flashbang originals. And one of the things we had adopted on Flashbang, we ended up putting in a rule about in promos, you cannot have a promo involve attacking a ref. Because we had characters who were attacking refs, in some cases, killing refs. I'm looking at you, Blight Howless.
Well, and there was also several instances where it became very repetitive, and that in itself was starting to wear on people.
Yeah. Every week there was a promo with somebody attacking a ref. Well, I'm getting to that, Hex. You're jumping ahead of the story. So we put in a rule, no more attacking refs or your character's suspended. And Hex did a promo where he attacked a ref, but it was an intentional thing on Hex's part to invoke that rule. And at the same time, because back then, Bosco's original idea for Flashbang was that Flashbang was the NXT of MNW, and that characters would start on Flashbang and eventually graduate to Warzone. And very quickly it became not that, and it eventually evolved to what it is now, which is Raw versus SmackDown. But the Outlaws were characters that Taka decided he wanted anyway. So the storyline was, because Theron broke that rule, that the Outlaws were banned from Flashbang, and their only option was to go to Warzone. And Bosco has pretty much kept the ban aspect of the story in forever. So that's how it started. And even now, we actually, unless somebody gets specific permission, we have the rule of don't touch, don't just attack interviewers, don't attack cameramen, don't commit violence on innocent bystanders just to make your character look tough or cool. Nacho Storm. So that's how they ended up on Warzone. And then, once I took over as the showrunner for Warzone, we just sort of developed this over time, the thing where, because Jerry's an old wrestler, that he and Hex developed something of a personal rivalry. And that's where the story is now. And, I would say, as for their legacy, I mean, they've always been the wild cards. To me, and there's a Maker's Guillotine. So for me, the Outlaws, I don't know, vibe-wise, have always felt like the Briscoes. There's the vibe, but then there's a little bit of the DX screw your rules. But in the end, I think the thing that works best about the Outlaws is, by the nature of their characters, they are great story catalyst. Especially since they're mercenaries and they fucking hate everyone. It's really easy to put them in a storyline with damn near anyone. So, and the idea of there's a lot to be said for those characters that you can use. We need some yeast for this stories. Bring on the Outlaws. Are you going to Galaxy Brain it? Nope. Dagrick got in under the wire. And I think that's the real legacy, is that, yeah, they work in a lot of stories. A lot of the people in the Boon or Bust match are in there either because they are... Oh, there we go. They're in the match either because their characters that make sense too. They're what Jerry would throw against the Outlaws to give the best option for Theron to lose. Or they have history with the Outlaws, like Punk Master Ghosts. Really? And I don't know how I feel about that, Bob, because I try and keep the history very much in mind when I'm doing things. And I'm very, I mean, as much as I can keep straight, Bosco, I think, does it differently. But because I'm, the whole reason we have the storyline right now between where Alba had, okay, now that's true. Zacco does like to pass the baton. There's a whole different booking philosophy between Zacco and Ed. I'll admit that. But the whole reason we've had Alba with the belt and now Blue Hood with the belt has been, and partially, I've been a big driver behind that because I felt they should have had the belt a long time ago and just never got their shot. And I wanted to make sure these guys got their time holding the gold. But that's also, again, a different philosophy between me and Bosco. I think Bosco is far less concerned with... Bosco has a different way of looking at titles, is what I'm going to say. Bosco likes long title runs, and I don't think... I would say there are characters that, if you're looking at it from a wrestling perspective, should have held the belt that aren't going to, and their time has passed. And it's just because Bosco, looks at the entire concept of holding a title differently than, say, I do. It's... I think part of that could also be just I'm very focused on what the current storylines are. With Wilson, we will bring up Wilson and we will talk about him, but part of it is Marilyn wanted to be done with the character. But I can kind of see what you mean. I don't know how we work that in. Well, that's something I can discuss with Zacco, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it does kind of get into, because one of the things Zacco put in here is, the history. We've talked about the history of the Outlaws on Warzone and Flashback, but I think it also gets into there's an interesting idea here of about the history of Flashbang and Warzone. Like I said, when we started out, Flashbang was very much meant to be a feeder for Warzone. The reason it was created at all, back in the day, people would come out of would watch MNW, and then I want a character, and they'd get either they'd make a character or they'd have a character made, and then the character was put up on the character servers under the hashtag Trashverse. And Taka would then go in there and pull new characters. And the problem was 2K only has 100 slots, or now 200. But back then it only had 100 slots. And there was more than 100 people wanting characters on the show. And there was and I was one of them. I had the creation up there. And I do think it was one of the reasons Flashbang existed is we need room for more players. We need room for more characters so that people can get their characters existing. And so a lot of the Flashbang originals were characters that had been made for Warzone and ended up on Flashbang because that's where there was space for them. And a couple characters that had been on Warzone but got ported over because needed to fill in the roster but also relieve some character pressure off of Warzone. Shoot Nation and Doom were like that when they went over to Flashbang. And a little bit Cryptic Cygen, but he really just more floated between. And I'm trying to remember, did Notorious CAT, I think, was initially moved back? A lot of weird history on that. But anyway, that was the whole point. But with the idea of, Warzone's the main show, and characters would eventually want to get on there. And then it just evolved till Flashbang was just its own thing and didn't need to be, it's not the feeder to Warzone. And the fact that we now have characters that started on Flashbang that have moved over to Warzone, and vice versa. We've got characters that had started on Warzone or were Warzone wrestlers that are now on Flashbang. And a lot of that is just the, either characters like, I've done all I can do over there, I want to move. Or it's, a lot of it is, I can more easily watch on one night than the other. And so I can more easily watch live if I'm over on the other show. Well, CAT Devin was absolutely originally a Warzone character. Because of daddy. That's a bit of old nostalgia for the long timers here. Let's get this next match going. All I remember was when multi-man matches, Cat on the outside of the ring, that damn Pootu staring me in the eyes. So this entrance has got me thinking because, of course, this was Imperium's entrance, and one of these two people was usually Ludwig Kaiser, who, of course, now is the hottest commodity in wrestling as El Grande Americano. And the realization of, I don't think we would have gotten El Grande Americano if they had gone with the original pitched idea for Ludwig's character. And Tim, I'm sure you can agree with that sentiment.
I don't remember his. I remember Gunther's.
Okay,
Back when he was Walter, or yeah.
Because what I remember for Kaiser is they effectively wanted to make him a straight up Nazi.
No, that was Gunther.
Was that Gunther? All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard it as Kaiser. I'm just glad wiser heads prevailed and went no overall.
Yeah, they gave him a last name that was literally one of the regime.
Yeah, Brad, that was Yeah, fortunately, wiser heads. In fact, I think wiser head in this case was Vince going, "Are you fucking stupid?"
You know what? I need a last name. Give it here.
Yes, the last name phylactery. All that time where Vince was just having people have one name, and our joke was he needs the last names to feed his phylactery.
As with everyone else, I've been loving all of this Danhausen stuff. Not just the sports, but the most recent bit he did with Miz.
And you can tell just by how much Miz is committing that he's having the time of his life.
Yep.
Miz is fully committed, and honestly, so is Kit. I hope Kit is absorbing everything he can from this because, what a way to showcase him. But yeah, seeing the Miz curse the Hurricanes, and the fact that you now have sports arenas, it's just show the Miz on our big screen cursing a team.
I just love the video title of the one where it's just like they reset Miz to his factory setting.
Yeah. But I think it's also now that audiences outside of wrestling are knowing who Danhausen is. Thanks to ESPN and now what he's doing with sports teams and the whole, you are cursed. So during Larissa's graduation ceremony yesterday, the keynote speaker was talking to the graduates and talking about how their generation, and he was being generalized for the average college-age generation. But talking about how your generation there's a lot of problems in the world that need to be solved. And your generation is going to help solve them. And one of the problems he listed that needed to be solved was AI. And from the context of his speech, it was really clear he was saying AI itself is a problem and needs to be solved. Danhausen has been invited to be part of the Knicks championship parade. That tracks. Danhausen is, and again, it's because he's done such great character work that he can evolve beyond just, he's going to be one of those guys that is known outside of wrestling. Kind of in a way that, like Austin Creed is known outside of wrestling in certain circles. Particularly gaming, both video and role-playing.
Well, part of the thing with Danhausen is he caught lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely.
Because if the results of the NBA hadn't gone the way they did, this wouldn't have been nearly as impactful.
Oh, no. Definitely worked in his favor. But also it's back to what MJF said about him is, you get so many at-bats and you take the swing and try and hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
And so Danhausen got that at bat, took a swing, and managed to pop a home run. And Devin, no, firing line, unfortunately, is not currently a thing.
It's one of those never say never of it coming back, but right now there's no way. Like Juan said, we need more people.
Yeah.
More time.
Yeah, the issue with firing... So firing line, all right, because it's a dark night, so firing line started as I got into MNW and, you know...
Oh, Lord, we're going down this memory lane.
We are down. You know, I got into watching Twitch enough, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try streaming. And I started streaming like a lot of people. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to play some games. And, you know, the first game, I don't know if was it the first game I played? God. Early games I played on stream were the original Evil Genius, a Jurassic Park game, and Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Right.
Two of which were Bob's fault. I watched him stream, and it's like, oh, that looks fun. Bob, I'm telling you, Windrose. And I was streaming one night thinking, what else could I do for content? And of course, what had really gotten me into Twitch was MNW. And I was like, wait a minute. I could do a stream covering MNW just like the old Tuesday Night Titans show that I watched as a kid, or, you know, Talking Smack, you know, any of the various, you know, shows where we're going to talk about wrestling. And I did one, and it went okay. But then I got this message from Tim with one of the rarest things in the world: legitimate constructive criticism. Not just, literally, here are things that I think you can do better and how I think you could do them better.
Yeah, I basically wrote up a list of things that could be done to improve the show. And it was an exhaustive list.
It was long. It was like at least a full page of bullet notes. And part of it was, you need a co-host.
Well, and part of what I included in that is the importance of having somebody to work off of.
Yeah.
And how much it benefits people to have that.
And so it's like, oh, are you volunteering? And that sort of began the evolution of Firing Line. And so we did the stream. It worked. Became integrated into the storyline once. Not the first Firing Line, but like the second or third, in prep for it, Tim and I spent, I want to say a good 2 or 3 hours on a call with Bosco, figuring out how to make some of the audio stuff work.
Sure.
And so we, right from the go, had Bosco's buy-in for Firing Line. And then through Bosco, we eventually got Taka's buy-in. And so it evolved into something legitimately part of the MNW story, including having the Nexus and having Joe run a interview segment where we do, because he was doing something where he had been doing in-character interviews, and so he became our in-character interviewer, and we had call in, which was essentially, members of the community could come in character and interact, and it was a whole thing.
Also,
Yeah.
pandemic. Everybody had a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, it definitely contributed. But then we got into Takahata burning out on MNW. And, part of it was he had started VTubing. He wanted to focus on VTubing. But he had also just burned out on MNW. He basically wasn't enjoying
As we mentioned earlier, 2 shows a night.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we were just, there were conversations, and it came down to, do you want to keep doing Warzone? Do you want to keep doing MNW? And his answer for himself was, no, but I don't want it to die. And
Honestly, Brad, neither one of us have had any contact with him.
I haven't talked to Kurt in well over a year. So I don't even think Ed has talked to him. So, but
I don't even know if Monty's talked to him.
That's fair. And that's one of the things I'm not going to ask.
Nope.
But what came down to was Kurt wanted to hand Warzone over to someone else. And we were trying to negotiate, okay, who? And it kind of hit to a point of, Kurt said, the only person I would actually trust with Warzone is Caliban. And I was like,
admittedly, I had a bit of Kurt's ear in that sense, because I was telling Kurt, Caliban's mature enough that he can be, very, what's the word? Balanced, impartial. He can, just run the show and not have any leaning one way or the other. And yeah.
Now, the one thing.
Oh, and I was like, oh, by the way, he's a project manager. And it's just like,
yeah. Now, one thing, because
he is qualified.
Yeah, and that helped. And part of our negotiation came down to, okay, but understand, I cannot do everything because I'm not you. So I need to have a team. Are you okay with me bringing in other people to handle things like the booking? And he's like, yeah, as long as you're running the show, I'm good with it. And so that's what happened. And then, as Tim said, I'm a project manager. I put together a team. So I had Tim and I had Zacho, and it was sort of always the tacit agreement, somewhere it very much evolved, because a lot of people wanted Zacho to take over the show, but Kurt wasn't comfortable with that. And so it's like, okay, that's fine. We can work with this. And the way it is evolved is very simply of, I got handed the show and I run it, but I run it as a producer. Which is what we're doing right now. I do the actual production of the show. But as far as booking,
Start the match.
Right. But as far as booking and actually, it's very much a kind of, I run the show, but the actual creative decisions are made by largely Zacho with input from Tim and I. To the point of, I always say the real showrunner of Warzone is Zacho. I just produce the product for him. And even then, he's producing the pre-records and all of that. But it is very much a team effort. And then we brought more people in the team. We have all of our intros made by Rosso. We have all of our graphics work done by Matrix. We have our statistician work done by Sage. We have a lot of additional production work done by Travis.
Frank. Push the button.
Right. And so it is very much become a production effort. And so that's how we ended up with, this match. I'm going to be honest, I was just pressing random buttons, but this one came up and went, we're doing this one. So yeah, that's how that evolved. And then of course, getting back to the original question from Devin, firing line, because it was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to run Warzone and do firing line. That's just, that's too much. Because and when I say I mean Tim and I put in a lot of work on firing line. There was a lot of pre-prep, and we kept trying to find ways to make it more.
Well, at a certain point, we were over engineering what we had started with.
Yeah, very much. I mean, sure, go ahead, Hex. And then Joe and Juan took it over, and they did it for a while until their schedules became too much. And the problem was and a lot of it was Joe's life got busy. Hang on, why do I feel that's one of the best you ever did? Honestly, I think it was just one of your delivery was some of the best delivery. There's something you were really feeling this one. But also, it was just, the reason I think it was one of the best promos you ever done was your delivery, your commitment to the bit was top notch. The writing, your intersection with the story. I mean, everything that a promo should be, that promo was. You're giving your characters, your character was in it. Your persona was full on, but you were also selling the story. And in a way that was like knowing you need to set up this story. And it was just one of those things of, it was the right thing to propel the story forward at the right moment. That's why I think it is one of the best you ever did. All right, let's get in here. I'll do this one. We're a little bit loosey-gooseier about breaks tonight. And yes, as Juan says, Joe is a family man and had to attend to his family, and I got to take the Theron thing down. Well, getting busy is also, I had Shane as a co-host for the longest time until he got busy, until life kind of got complicated.
As it does tend to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said about, again, right. We talk about Danhausen, Hex, hitting the lightning in the bottle with.
Oh, just some nights you're on and some nights you're not.
Yeah.
Or you're just not as on.
And so you were on, but it was also that lightning in the bottle moment of the story lined up just perfectly and your promo fit it just right. In other words, you had your at-bat and you swung for the fences. Which is my new favorite analogy for things like this. All right, let's all right, what do we got for the Zacho list? I forget. Okay, because it's been a week. And my brain... Hang on, I'll go look.
I dare say my funnest promos are not even ones that were for me.
Right. God, I got to get a better... Figure out what the theme for him was.
It was the ones I did for Bob.
Oh, yeah.
The history of MNW.
Yeah. That was a great series.
Yeah.
So one of Zacho's notes is, what's next for Driscoll? Which, again, we know, but... Because Driscoll's at this point, he's done the TTV bit. He's got the deal with Ignacio, which is going to bear fruit, trust me. And he's currently feuding with Nakano. But it's the question of what overall is next for Driscoll. And I think Driscoll's another one of those characters where he has a lot of potential because he's another good catalyst. Of course you do, Hex. I mean, again, he's feuding with an outlaw, so why not? But yeah, no, Driscoll is another good catalyst character. His nature means you can put him with a lot of different characters and set off the storyline. Which means, of course, you've got to keep him relevant. But, yeah, he can go in with any character and make a story happen either through wanting to make a deal and them not wanting anything to do with it, a la the janitor / professional, or what happened with Westwind, or what's happening now with Ignacio. So he is storyline yeast, and you need those characters. And I think ultimately whatever happens with Driscoll will be that. I think with Driscoll, it's if we need to give a character a shot in the arm, we need to get a storyline going. Driscoll can do that and not even have to be in the story for long. You know, he does a program with someone and then they go up spinning out of what happened with Driscoll. That's, you know, the janitor becoming the professional was that. Now, one of the other questions, so obviously, thanks to Zacho, I already know who's going to be in the Kings Road tournament and how it's going to go. But just because I know, you guys will find out next show. You would have found out tonight if we'd had a show. So, who do you think is in the tournament, guys? Guys and gals, I gotta be fair here.
Y'all.
I have one person I like to follow, Danny Mott, who's guys, girls, and squirrels. Of course, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. So, Meister thinks Payne is pulling double duty. Maybe. Vegeta, dude. I mean, maybe, but you're on another show. And this is to determine who will go after the multiversal. I mean, we do want to do crossover shit with you. So, Wand is thinking Jaunt. Either in the tournament or making their presence known. Thunder Baron is saying Buck or TJ. Arcillion's thinking Multiversal Ant. Gamer Devin thinks that M might come in as a wild card. Hex is going Dag, Buck, Ant, Jaunt, and then Dag again, because Dag's going to be hitting twice. Okay. Azir and Sir Uncle Dunk continuing their rivalry in the tournament. Leon Arcaster. So getting some interesting, definitely getting some interesting. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Oh, don't you dare, 2K. So, all right. So that's, at least that tells me who people think would be the ones. I can report that back to Zacho. Yeah, we know who it's going to be, and obviously we have to set up our storyline for Vania. Okay. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. We always joke about, oh, hey, the MVP is going to come back. Oh, the MVP is going to come back. Guys, I don't know if I can appreciably tell you how much I need to stress this point. That Bosco, I think, would rather shave his eyebrows than bring back his MNW persona. I think he would rather, you know, he is, because he legitimately believes he fucked that character up and that he had no choice to retire him because he'd screwed it up so badly.
Well, they'd gone very severely into X-Pac.
Yeah. So while I understand this always, oh, bring back Bosco, actual Bosco is not going to have it. Just not. Essentially, there are two characters that right now at this stage I can guarantee. Well, there's more than two. We've got some, but there are two characters I guarantee you will never come back unless things drastically change. And that is the MVP and Trashman Jones. And it's just because those are two characters that we would need the explicit consent of those players to bring them back. And I don't think either one, one of them, like we said, we haven't heard from Kurt in over a year. And Bosco has just put his foot down. So. Anyway. So you know what? I don't want to...
I mean, we're close enough to break time.
That's what I was thinking. I'm trying to decide what I want to do for the break. You know what? I'm going to kind of take a break. It's just going to be me going to do what I really do during the break, which is restroom. Maybe grab something to snack on. I'm not going to put on a commercial, too. No. I'm just going to leave the lo-fi of the Midnight, which, by the way, guys, this is with us. Background music all night has been the Midnight, who do instrumental versions of all their songs. And if you need some good background music, and they have vowed they will never copyright claim you, they get the job done. As for people thinking Arkoff or Black, Arkoff is not going to come back, and that is by choice of Arkoff himself. Now, when you're saying Blackthorn, I mean, are you talking Jagger or Kevin? Because Kevin Blackthorn is just one of those characters that's just kind of gone because the player vanished a long time ago. Whereas Jagger's around.
Oh yeah, Kevin was Blackwell.
Blackwell, you're right. Jagger. Well, Jagger just did a promo recently. He's setting up his Multivania story. So we definitely have plans for Jagger. But Arkoff is retired. At the request of actual Arkoff. All right. I'm going to go real quick, use the restroom. I'm going to leave the midnight on. I'll be back in a few.
Yep.
Be back soon.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we receive word from the owner of the character that they don't want to bring their character back, or we're going to respect that. And yeah, everybody just for whatever reason, felt that they were either done with the character or just didn't want them lingering about. I mean, we've had some that have been retired and then just replaced with a new character. So, sure, I could be in it. Funny enough, I don't actually remember. I could probably look it up, but. And the truth of the matter is, while my character is not retired, my character is largely focused not in wrestling. So there's not as much need for me to be around in that sense. But yeah, I have always been very comfortable with if there's a role that they need me to fill, I will fill it. But I stay out of the thing partly because I'm in the booking, but just because I don't think my character serves as well in ring. Kind of like on the Undertaker schedule, I'll come in for the big ones. Later, Vegeta. Dragon guy. Yeah, Sage. He's asking. He's throwing out names for the tournament. Yeah, not retired people. All good, Sage. Right, Bob. It's a storyline facilitator, and if I'm capable of serving a purpose, even if I'm not needed at the moment.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back.
My girl cat is a needy wench.
Honestly, I wasn't. Isn't that joke? Joe Cat made of like having to be careful when you're a DM and paying attention, because then you might screw up and give people the wrong impression. Because I completely missed the part where you said "and your new faction." I'm like, wait, what? Like, no. Wait, what? I'm confused. Side note, I've been rewatching those Joe Cat crap guides to D&D.
Hmm.
Great stuff.
I mean, he did good work, yeah. So before I hit go on this, so anyone who actually pays attention knows that my poor little autistic brain is currently hyper focused on Neon Odyssey. And I've been reading their forum stuff, and people were talking about builds and talking about, oh, a sorcerer paladin multi-class sounds great, but it's really hard to pull off. You're either doing stuff as a sorcerer or as stuff as a paladin, and I gotta say, watch Critical Role. Luis Carrazzo's character is a paladin sorcerer multi-class, and he has made him an absolute menace. Because he sat down and thought, how do these two classes blend together? He did such a good job that the DM has had to think of ways to get around how threatening he is in combat.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna push the button.
I can't comment on Critical Role. I haven't watched a single thing.
No, that's fair. Talk about the right song for a character. So, speaking of my hyperfixation, somebody on the Neon Odyssey forums created a PowerPoint that basically contains everything we know so far, which is all the races, all the planets, all the classes and subclasses, all the factions, and so in other words, everything we kind of know about the world, which I thought was nice.
Right.
And then they also, Avantris released Neon Odyssey rule character sheets for all of the player characters of Stardust Rhapsody at level 3, so right when they get their subclasses, to kind of show how the classes and subclasses work, which again, if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, is going to be very similar. You just essentially have to get used to some of the Neon Odyssey specific rules.
Right.
You know, like how they convert wizards into grid runners. So in other words, you're a wizard and you hack things.
I say one of the things that
Right.
will be interesting is to see other other people using the material.
All right, Tim, this is one of those moments that happens a lot now where we're clearly sharing a brain cell.
Yeah.
Because that was essentially what I was about to say.
Like, theoretically, you could get, like, oh, what is that? Not Dropout. The guys other than Critical Role that are big on campaigns.
Dimension 20?
That's them. You know, if you had, like, them do a session with that material.
So one of their most popular seasons ever was called Starstruck. And it was their space opera season. And they had to homebrew a bunch of stuff for science fiction. And Neon Odyssey would be perfect for them if they ever decided to do a season 2.
Sure.
But I was also thinking, I mean, there's some homebrewing that are going to be easy because it's like, you know, take some stuff from D&D or other homebrews. I mean, because Neon Odyssey is just a D&D 5.5 reskin for the most part, you could take things that have been homebrewed for other things and very easily convert into Neon Odyssey. So, for their machinist class, which is their rework, they had to. So one of the characters that they released a character sheet for is a machinist, which is the reskinned artificer. But they have to be very careful because artificers are not part of the SRD, which means they're not exactly fair game for a full reskin. So they had
AKA WotC could come with their lawyers.
Right. So they had to do it as a new class based on artificers. But reading it, it's like, I see where they changed things, but they veered very close. And there are some artificer homebrews and also some artificer Keith Baker, who created Eberron. And the most recent thing he produced did some new artificer subclasses that I think would work very well as some easy converts into Neon Odyssey. But I mean, it really comes down to, Galaxy Brain, really. It really comes down to, and this is how will it be homebrewed. The answer, Hex, is going to be the same way anything else is homebrewed for D&D. I mean, you look at the number of homebrews for anything in D&D, and that's how you're going to be able to do it for Neon Odyssey, because it's essentially the same rule set. In fact, there are things they didn't add into the Neon Odyssey rules because they're saying for this just refer to the free basic D&D rules available on D&D Beyond, or get a player handbook essentially. So, yeah, but right now I think they created great, although they've, let's see, how did this get saved? It was announced today that some people are going to be putting out, working with Wizards to put out new D&D expansions or D&D rule sets for Hasbro properties like Transformers, G.I. Joe, and, interestingly enough, Power Rangers. Which I'm like, was this a response to Neon Odyssey? Because you could do almost all of those in Neon Odyssey.
I doubt it, but...
No, I think they would have to be in the works longer than that. It just was one of those. Even the review I saw about it referenced Neon Odyssey, though. All right. Next question. Can Sawyer deal with Ignacio? Can he? Probably. Does he want to? Probably not. I mean, this is another story. There is a point to this story. There are other systems. Well, apparently that had something to do with it. Whoever's doing the current systems for those IPs are not going to be doing it anymore. And that's why this new thing... And the thing is, this new thing isn't just like a random thing. It's going to be an officially licensed thing. Whereas Neon Odyssey... So Neon Odyssey has created subclasses. There are two different subclasses that are essentially Jedi riffs. There is a Robo Cop riff, the Matrix, Mandalorians, or Seamus, depending on how you're Seamus? Metric.
Samus.
Samus, thank you. There is a character species that are basically the characters from Sonic the Hedgehog. There is a so they Neon Odyssey created a very broad base of things using space opera and sci-fi tropes, pulling from sources like Star Wars, Lensman, Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, video games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario Kart. I'm not kidding, guys. Instead of the Pharaohs, you have Arcadia, which is an offshoot of the Hypergrid. It is their Pharaohs are basically a video game world. And their Fae are characters that follow video game physics. Come on, start. There we go. And apparently that got Matrix attention. Was it Sonic? Oh, you're right, because it's the Matrix. Best part, the character that's based on the Matrix is a disciple subclass, and disciples are their reskin of monks. Oh yeah, Squatch. Arcadia. So they during the Kickstarter campaign did a lot of the Neon Odyssey miniseries. One of them was called Uprootorama, where they took their characters from their campaign Uproot and did them Neon Odyssey. And since Uproot is set exclusively in the Fae realm, Uprootorama was set exclusively in Arcadia. And all of the players, because there were essentially funny animals in Uproot, in Uprootorama they were all bitlings, which are the Arcadia denizens. I'm just curious if some of the specific rules they've created for Neon Odyssey are going to find their way into D&D. Or I should say, not officially. I don't think officially, but I think some people might take them as homebrews. Because one I find intriguing is, so the Juggernauts, which are their barbarian reskin, every time they rage, every time they surge, they get to pick what 3 types of damage they are resistant to. So it's not standard and it's not even fixed. You know, they go into their surge and they say, okay, I'm going to be resistant to radiant, lightning, and bludgeoning. And I think there are people that are going to go, well, hell, let's just use that with barbarians. All right, let's see what else we got here. Might as well get into Zacho's last subject for him he gave us. What do we think? What do you think Zeta's purpose is now? So remember, Zeta, which the moment I say Zeta, I start thinking about Neon Odyssey again, but I'll get into that in a minute. So Zeta is the harbinger of the 4th age. The first age was Trashman Jones. The second age was Edward Bosco, the MVP. The third age was Arkoff, which was the longest age. And now the 4th age is Zeta. So as the harbinger of his age, what do you think Zeta's purpose is going to be? So Matrix is saying a bit of cleaning around. I mean, it could be. I think it's a good guess. Oh! I love that move. No, I was going to say thinking of Zeta, and of course thinking of Zacho. Everyone knows that rebuild everything up but to his standards. I mean, that is, yeah, and that would, I would say, be sort of his version of what Arkoff did. And it's just that Zeta's standards would clearly be, he would see something different than Arkoff. Bob's like, you don't want me to answer. Fair, Bob. I was going to say, merging everything we were just talking about, we all know that Zacho is a huge Gundam fan. And one of the most popular series that Avantris did during the Neon Odyssey campaign was Waltz for Eternity, which was a Gundam-inspired campaign.
There's a new Gundam game in development, and it looks almost like a Souls-like.
We watched the trailer for that on the last Sunday in the lab, didn't we? We watched a Gundam game trailer.
Yeah, we did. That looks like it could be good.
It really, I'm not even a big Gundam fan, and I'm like, that looks interesting. But, you know, Nightmare Emperor is saying he's going to cause problems on purpose. Yeah. I'd say with Zeta, that's just a given. The
I was going to
question
say, he's also going to do wrestling.
I would say the question with Zeta is what problems are he going to cause? So I think one of the things to remember with Zeta, just from a mechanical point of view, is Zeta is Zacho's player character. And Zacho is the person booking the show. Zacho is very conscientious and thus wanting to be very careful of not letting whatever he's doing with Zeta be an ego stroke. And that he wants to make sure that what he's doing is serving a story purpose.
So what are we calling this age? Just kidding.
You know, all they are is numbered. We've never, you know, or they're the age of Trashman, the age of Bosco, the age of Arkoff, and the age of Zeta. But we could give it a. We could come up with names for them.
Oh, I'm just being a shit, you know.
Hey, some of your best ideas started off with you being a shit.
Not wrong.
You know, one thing I want to talk to when we get to 26 fully, I want to ask Zacho to. I want him to leave the announce table, but I want him to remove the announcers. Just so I can reference the Phantom announce table. I want the Phantom announcers. I love that little crawling headbutt. And I'm so glad that Squatch has it. So, right now, on Dimension 20, the season they are doing is called City Council of Darkness, which is they are using Vampire the Masquerade rules. And it's about a group of vampires that, as punishment, are sent to take over the town of Perpy, Oregon. And one of the things that they're doing in that town is, it turns out Bigfoot is a character. He is definitely treated as a spiritual entity and a protector of Perpy. And the master of Kumite. Which, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with this one. Because they got a rivalry thing. And I'm just like, Bigfoot, master, and apparently creator of Kumite. I'm just repeating as it was said in the show. Kumite. But yeah, Sage. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. It is, they also, it's taking Vampire the Masquerade and doing a comedy season, because it's Dimension 20, it's a comedy show. Yeah, basically, Sage.
Because you see, Kuma is bear in Japanese.
Anyway, I just was squatching like, Yeah, pro wrestling. It's not that far off from Kumite, right?
Sure.
All right, I gotta, here's another. I gotta remember. I gotta get in here. Zacho and I need to have a conversation about fixing the music. Now we're close enough to 26. I don't know. That's a conversation here we're gonna have to have.
Got to be funky. Oh. Good God.
All right, this one is okay, I guess. Yeah, okay. I don't know what happened with. I feel like the.
Wait, now is it Michael Jackson?
I don't. This isn't what I remember having originally set. So. See, the nice thing is when we move over to 26, it's all going to be reset. And best of all, since Zacho and I are sharing an account for that, it won't be my fault. It'll be whatever Zacho set. You know what I should do when we get it all set? I should just invite Zacho over to dinner one night, and then he and I sit down at my computer and fix everything. The enticement, of course, is Zacho, come over and have a home-cooked meal.
Yeah.
See which of the signature dishes we do around here would appeal to him the most. Larissa's default would be to make him pot roast. And I mean good pot roast in the crock pot. Now this one is right. See, now I'm thinking of, and I think we'd have to talk to Bosco about the tricks. How many people remember that when Punk Master Ghost debuted, he was invisible? And by invisible, I mean all you could see was his clothing. Okay, if we did an invisible Punk Master Ghost, who would his opponent be? And what weirdness would we do with them? I mean, yeah, recreate Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan, but as an actual match. And we had the infamous Lameme match, which was just poetry. But I would, so have Punk Master Ghost where all that's visible is his clothing. I'm just saying what would be the weirdness. Now you could be this matchup, but Alistair is in his wolf form.
Put him against little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy. Now I'm trying to think it would be a good MNW wrestler for him to go up against, where you could do some weirdness with it. Oh, XR Kun, but XR Kun is wrestling him just using the force from outside the ring.
Or he's just all of a sudden Force Ghost.
Jaunt, but he's just a cloud of bats, which is taking Thunder Baron's idea and riffing on it.
And making it far less possible.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, in that case, you just get a giant bat.
Fair. Actually, I'm sure we could find one.
Give ourselves a man bat.
So in Daggerheart, for the vampires as adversaries, they have a mist form, which translates to if they activate their mist form, they have resistance to physical damage. So if you want to do real full damage to them, you have to use magical damage. Yeah, sorry. It was a busy day yesterday. Again, why I'm glad at least we're doing a dark show.
Okay, hear me out. Punkmaster Ghost's clothes get possessed, and he has to fight them.
Huh. I mean, doable. So does that mean you have Punkmaster TM himself in a loincloth?
Or
a
like,
pair,
yeah, like some boxers maybe, or so,
Yeah.
like his pajama pants.
pair of basic trunks.
Sure.
See, now that has some possibility. Like I said,
Pair of sweats.
yeah. Punkmaster
His
Ghost.
gym wear.
No, Punkmaster Ghost, but he has to come out in the bad CG Ghost's outfit.
There you go. We've done the two of them versus each other with the invisible clothes, haven't we?
I don't know that we've done it with
I feel
the
like it's
invisible-
something we did a while ago. Like one of the Multivanias, because we probably needed Bosco's help for it. Either that or the murder cave.
Yeah, I don't know. Going for the pit. Yeah.
Because was that the one? Because I never remember there was one trick that Zacho was proud that he, not that he had beaten Bosco to the punch in the discovery per se, but he had beaten Bosco to the punch in showing it. I'm trying to remember if that was what it was.
Yeah, it was. God, what was it? Because there was something that Zacho did, and Bosco was so upset because he didn't get to do it first. It's like, we get to do original stuff too, Bosco.
He had found it. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna have fun doing this, and oh crap, he beat me to it.
Wedgie!
Well, so you had the race between Zacho and Ed, and then you had the murder cave sitting in the corner laughing at them.
Well, because let's be fair, a lot of the tricks that Bosco has, let's say a fair amount of them, if we're being perfectly honest, were actually discovered by Arkolf. Which is not to disparage Ed. He's done a lot of great work on his own. I'm just saying, you cannot, however, ignore the vast contribution of Arkolf.
Well, there are several intersections between the two.
Oh, yeah.
Where they cross paths, if you will. That was always one of the running jokes for a while before we kind of put the kibosh on the clowns is no matter what happened, or no matter what, even if there wasn't an angle planned, every member on the roster more than likely had a clown version of themselves made by Grizzly.
It's true. Yeah, the original clown version of the creation of Dr. Caliban only showed up once.
Well, it was always the case where, like, you don't have... Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Grizzly's already made one.
No, it's happening. Just accept. So, for a while, we did the storyline on Maelstrom, where Dr. Caliban tried to create he was trying to create a vaccination, protection against clownanthropy, and accidentally created the classics, which all came from I wanted to do a black and white version of the creation. And so I had black and white versions of the creation, and Caliban, it was the classics. It was a slightly different variation of the clown virus.
Right.
And not many people got turned into a classics, but a few people did, including, weirdly enough, John Euclidean.
Ah.
Those of you who remember John Euclidean. Which, honestly, it was a good look for the characters, the black and white version of those guys.
Sure.
It worked surprisingly well, and I always think about if there's a way to bring that back for a one night stand where you don't just do a whole match sepia tone. All right, so I wanted to make sure I got Croc in here, and he ended up randomized with Aiden. Would have liked to have seen Mr. Taxums. That would have been it. That would have definitely been the Forest version. Sadly, remember this, the Aiden Zero clown was Mr. Fistums. I still think one of my favorite matches with the clowns was the creation versus Mr. Boss in a We Are Number One match.
Yep.
Where it was just Mr. Boss was wearing a Robbie Rotten outfit, and during the entire match, a loop of an instrumental version of We Are Number One was playing. And the sound effects were lining up pretty well to things that were happening in the match. Speaking of invisible, and this is just the bullshit for whatever reason the game makes. And at some point, Aiden will just appear.
Sure, why not?
I think my favorite of the clown matches at Multivania was when we did the clown doppelgangers match, where it was the wrestlers defending against the clowns. Each clown was a doppelganger of them, except for NG. His counter was Mr. Dunkums, which was the clown Bosco. The closest, the joke was the closest we'll ever get to the MVP back in action. So, reminder, folks, in the show, when we're getting to this point of the night, I'm beginning to get tired.
Yeah.
And so, yet it's when I have to have the most energy because it's the big matches for the end of the night. It's a challenge. And now we point out that Aiden and Croc have a very similar color scheme.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a hell of a theme night, matching up wrestlers who have similar color palettes. Could have an all red and black match. Would probably have
Or we could have a flannel night.
Yeah. You know what? Bringing up flannel just reminds me of that one schmuck. I miss Schmuckles.
Yeah.
I miss Schmuckles. I miss DJ Milsner.
Sure.
I mean, I could go down a list of people as like, God, I wish they were still around. Both as their characters and then, you know. Because then again, I miss Vaughn.
Yeah.
Ugh. So did I tell you what happened last Thursday? When we raided Connor?
I don't think so.
Probably didn't get a chance because we didn't do our Sunday stream this week.
Right.
So I go over with the raid, and Connor's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "We were watching Flash Gordon." And he's like, "Oh, cool!" And then he starts singing the Flash Gordon thing,
As you do.
And he was like, so what is Flash? You know, somebody is in the stream with him. It's like, "Oh yeah, Flash Gordon's this thing from the '80s."
Meh.
And I was like, Connor, we were watching the original Flash Gordon from 1936. To which he was like, it's that old?
Yep.
Yes, Connor. Yes, it is.
He was one of the original American heroes of pop culture.
Yeah. A lot of influence. So, now, again, from what I've read, Flash Gordon got created in the comic strip because King Feature wanted to license John Carter of Mars. And this match showed how the game is still buggy.
And, I'm glad it happened tonight.
Yeah, great night for it to be buggy. Yeah.
God, there was a time, one of the shows, we had like 3 or 4 random our PC in-game matches, and the first one was a Galaxy Brain, and I didn't have a chance to say it to Caliban at the time. I told him after. I was just so paranoid that any of the next 3 were also going to end in the same way.
Well, wasn't that the same night that we had a planned Galaxy Brain pre-record?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're doing a showcase match for the final match of the night, and I threw, and Morgan popped up, and I went, what the fuck? So Flash Gordon was based on John Carter of Mars, and yet both John Carter of Mars and Flash Gordon were cited as influences on Star Wars.
Sure.
As was, of course, Lensman. Which I would... There's a part of me, I don't know how anyone would go about it. I'd love a Lensman revival, but I feel it would suffer from the same thing the John Carter revival attempt suffered from, which is people calling it derivative of all of the science fiction that was actually inspired by Lensman.
Sure.
I was watching a Lensman thing, and somebody was like, the Lensman anime, and one of the people, that's just the Force. And I went, yes. And Lensman came out before Star Wars. Do you want to guess which influenced which?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. You're just reversing your influences.
The thing was that it functioned, like there were different options, but it functioned the same way. And it was just as plot convenient as the other. Oh, yeah. We need our hero to hit. We need their lens or their force to allow them to lift somebody up. Okay, yeah, sure. The lens can do that. The force can do that. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you go and you check out some of the old Lensman books, it's like, well, apparently the lens can do that. Great.
Now, of course, one of the other big things influenced by Lensman, Green Lantern.
Oh, sure.
I mean, heavily inspired by, influenced by Lensman. So.
Yep. Which I always found interesting with the anime, because it was not... It sounds weird hearing about an author from, 40s? What was he, Doc Smith?
I'd have to look it up right now.
But for that to end up over in Japan and turned into an anime series that then got recut so that it looked like an anime version of Star Wars and released as a straight-to-video movie, like, just that journey blows my mind.
Oh, sure. But that's
It'd be like finding out that the Lone Ranger was made by the guy who made Godzilla. Like, wait, that's the wrong end of the country.
Yeah.
That's the wrong end of the world.
Well, okay, then you're getting into me reminding everyone that the Green Hornet was a spin-off of the Lone Ranger.
Sure. Well,
see,
it's the basic concept of the buddy cop.
Sure.
You've got the good guy and his loyal sidekick.
Yeah. And Matrix, I'm going to remember that for next Dark Show. Put in Ant. So, yeah. You know, for some reason, you know, discussing what we were just discussing about, like, Lensman, just reminded me of the number of people who think the Japanese Spider-Man was a case of copyright infringement.
Right.
Versus, nope, fully licensed and endorsed by Stan Lee.
Not only that, he was a fan. He thought it was great. And like he specifically mentioned the fact that it was a Japanese person, because he was like, part of the reason that he wears the mask is he could be anybody.
Yeah.
And of course, now, you know, we've got Miles Morales. We've got the freaking Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And the most monumental achievements come out of that, Spider Noir.
Which I'm not
Gave us
done.
fucking Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man.
I'm not done with it yet, but I am working on it. Which all
I've heard they've basically said, look, you don't have to go full Nick Cage, but if you feel like it, go for it.
And he is. And he is pulling off stuff in Spider Noir that would seem ridiculous if any other actor did it.
Exactly.
But because it's Nick Cage, you're like, yeah, okay, fair. Not only fair, but it makes sense for the character.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not wrong, El Robot. And the way they come up with an in-universe excuse why he talks like other noir characters. And it's perfect.
Oh, hey, Juan's watching Noir right now with some people.
I'm not going to spoil anything, Juan, other than to say it's wonderful, and I'm so glad to hear they've already said, yeah, we'll do another season. I think this is finally really bringing home the idea of screw it, we can do alternate versions of Spider-Man. He's like the one character, especially thanks to Spider-Verse, where you can just say there's multiple versions going around.
Sure.
I mean, No Way Home took full advantage of that.
You want to go get yourself a refresher drink if you need?
I'm actually right now grabbing a Ricola.
Ah, that works too.
It will get the job done.
Well, Thunderbear, you know, you don't want to just like say full cage all the time. You don't, you know, then it's like, oh, you're only hiring him to play Nick Cage. No, well, you want him to play the character. But if in playing the character he ends up going full Nick Cage, it just so happens. What are you gonna do?
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Exactly. It's free DLC. There's no reason not to have it, but you don't necessarily have to use it.
And Louis.
Okay, what would be our ripoff to Prime Energy?
To what energy?
Prime? That bullshit from Logan Paul?
Oh.
Like, what would our MNW ripoff be? Fractional? High?
I mean,
Exponential.
yeah, there you go.
Slap that sucker in the middle of the ring. Irrational. Thunderbaron wins. That's got layers.
Yeah. There, somebody recently, what was it? Can we stop letting the Paul brothers ruin sports?
Yeah. Still, of course, love the Joe Hendry song.
Oh, yeah.
We are back.
All right. And to get the rest of the units in for the night, Yeah, one of the things about a showcase match, at least a quarter of the match is the entrances. So, back during the Taka era, there was a rule that certain entrances couldn't be used just because they took so long. And the amount they lengthened the show.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just mentioning how there used to be your entrance can only be so long rule.
Yeah, aka the Undertaker rule.
Yeah, basically.
Even though I think his wasn't the longest in game. It was up there though.
It was up there, but yeah, you're right. It was not the longest.
Because of course, at some point, a spreadsheet was made about the length of every single entrance.
Oh, I remember that spreadsheet. And watching some creation streams where it's like, okay, how long is this entrance? Watching Bosco and Arkoff trying to figure out how to optimize the entrance.
I like that they added movement to the mask, yet they didn't poke a hole in it.
Nope. Which just makes him creepier.
Exactly. It worked in our benefit.
And this is just now going to be a whole bunch of characters punching each other. Oh, sure, it could be. I mean, that's the beauty of a showcase match, Hex. It's just a great excuse to display characters, get them on the show, get some action going, maybe see if a storyline develops or not. See, I think one of the reasons that Showcase works so well, and this was a good idea by Bosco, because in any match like this, the characters are going to want to go outside. So you let them go outside, but you make it falls count anywhere so that they can at least try and make the pin outside. And thus you can make the match march. Because I'm going to be honest, legitimately in a match like this, that's the hardest thing, is keeping the pace going.
Yeah. Well, just being able to keep an eye on everything going on.
Oh, it's... One of the things about match, like, I've always felt that unless it's really well telegraphed, it's impossible to call move names. There's too much going on. And mostly you just want to try and keep track of pinfalls and submissions and then declaring when somebody gets eliminated.
Yeah.
With the biggest problem being you're focusing on something else and then a pin comes out of nowhere. And you eventually just have to see who leaves the ring. Thing is, this is a match type that I think could work in actual wrestling.
I don't know, with how some federations are with their camera cuts, trying to get everybody in.
That's also fair. Well, somebody got eliminated, but there were two. Looks like it was TJ. Because there was also a submission going on McMorgan at the time. And poor TJ is just trying to find a way to get out of the ring. And they keep blocking his exit path. There we go.
Louis.
All right. So now, all right, Hex going around Chaz. Nope. Morgan bloodied Seth. There goes Buck. You know what? I'm going to laugh my ass off if Theron wins. Or, well, here comes the bloody end. But not held, so... Oh, there goes.
Lying nothing.
Well, the ref can't get out of the ring.
Oh.
Yeah. Ref positioning is a thing. And an upskirt shot on McMorgan. Oh! Getting him right in the Blarney Stones. Wait, that's Irish. Never mind.
Right in the bagpipes.
Right in the bag you go. I still think my best I ever did of those was when it happened to XR Coon, and I went right in the Kyber crystals.
Solid. I will always be appreciative that there is, in fact, a kilt business named Damn Near Kilt Them.
Nice. Well, you know, and I come from the land of utilikilts.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's one of the things that they make.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to it. It's probably in storage somewhere. I had a utilikilt. Felt like that was everyone gang up on Anon, but then it became Hex versus everyone. Which again fits the current storyline and could be like a moment in the damn Boomer Bust. And Seth refuses to go down. Well, that's it for Theron, but that still leaves a Scotsman. You know, a Scotsman, a Florida man, and Seth. I always used to, in the early days, joke. MNW employs werewolves, vampires, a Gillman is the head of maintenance, and whatever the hell Anon is.
Friggin' Seth might win this.
He might. And there we go.
Well, had to prove me wrong.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, we honestly should do more showcases on Warzone.
Yeah.
I think the main reason we don't is Zacho has a lot of story ideas, but I could get away with we can get away with a few more. Chance to showcase more characters. All right.
We shall see.
Come on. And out of there. All right. Well, there we go. And it was a good night. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Last call for any questions because we are wrapping up the night. So next week, we, of course, intend to be back with a full Warzone. Because Zacho will have time, especially with him knowing. Usually what happens is we book out the show on Thursday, and then Zacho spends the next few days preparing the matches. This week, he lost because of some stuff he had to do for outside things. He ended up losing a good chunk of time that he would have used for editing. That means a lot of the work's already done. He just has to edit, and he's got a week now. So, you know. There we go. I'm going to say this right now. To our audience watching on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and bring the YouTube to a close. So thank you all for joining us here on MNW Dark, where Tim and I go out of character and just kind of do stuff and shoot the breeze. And, you get to see some matches you might not get to see otherwise.
Hey, yeah, let's do this thing. Like, comment, subscribe.
Hey, yeah.
Ring that damn bell. I don't know. I'm not your
Alright.
mama.